Well, it's 6:30, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. A few people might come up. I know there might be a few that might be coming, but I want to make sure to respect everyone's time, especially yours, Chloe, since you're here. As I get started, can you hear me okay, Chloe? Cool. The PowerPoint. All right. Looks like we are in great shape. Since it's just me and you, Chloe, tonight, I'm guessing the live session will probably go faster. Um, but if you have any questions in the meantime, please just let me know. So this is the agenda for tonight. Um, we will talk a little bit. We'll have welcome and introductions. We'll go over the live classroom expectations. Important reminders. I'll check in again with you guys. Course project, lesson plan part 4, and then we will have the chapter 8 case study. So that is what we will be doing tonight. So just very briefly, just wanted to share a little bit about myself. As most of you guys know, my name is Mike, and I now live in Minnesota. This is now my second week here in Minnesota. I am the new education director for the Head Start program in Cochise and Itasca counties. And my favorite book growing up, sometimes it changes from time to time. My favorite book is Sidwick the Big-Hearted Moose. My daughter loves moose, so naturally she loves this book. So yeah, it's a little bit about me and my favorite book. Now I just kind of will open it up. Chloe, just to share a little bit about yourself. And what your favorite book is. Also, if you are listening to this online, please answer these questions in paragraph format as well. Chloe, if you can talk, it might make it easier. But if not, it's not a big deal. So Chloe's favorite book is any Dr. Seuss book. As she got older, her favorite changed to the Magic Treehouse. Perfect. And Chloe, can you just remind everybody, where do you live? Denver, Colorado. So yeah, you guys are going to be in a pretty, I'm sure the weather there is pretty crazy. I think it was like 100 one day, and then it's supposed to snow the other day. Yeah, it's snowing right now. That's pretty crazy. Did you get a lot of snow so far? Yeah, when I just actually moved from Denver, and yeah, the weather is crazy. It'll go from one extreme to the other. It'll be snowing one day, and then the next day it will be 85, 90 degrees. Yeah, it's starting to get fluffy. Fluffy. That's good. I'm sure it won't last long, so enjoy it. That's great. Mhm. I know sometimes in November, it's weird because sometimes it'll be like 75 degrees in January, and it'll be short weather, and then the next day there's like a huge blizzard. But then it's all usually melts, which is nice. The nice thing about Colorado. Um, in Minnesota, it doesn't melt; it just gets colder, and the snow just keeps piling up. So it's a little bit different, but yeah, cool. Well, thanks for sharing. Um, yeah, it's going to be 80 on Friday, so yeah, it'll definitely melt. Yeah, you got a little touch of winter, but I'm sure there'll be more to come, I'm sure. Especially in the mountains. um so yeah, just going over the live classroom expectations, which I think at this point in the game everybody knows what the live classroom expectations are, but just want to reiterate to you guys, if you are attending, like which Chloe is, you're expected to engage with your instructor, and if there are fellow students, to engage them with course concepts. Basically, the purpose of these live sessions is not to bore you guys. It's for open dialogue, and questions are usually encouraged, even though you guys tend to ask them throughout the week, which is great. And then if you can't attend a live session, this video usually is posted the next day, and then you will must complete the session to earn credit. You will have to answer the questions that I asked the class during the presentation in order to receive full credit. Just to let you know, if I don't have it on the screen, does it mean that I'm not asking the question? So it makes you actually have the time to actually look in there and listen to the live session so you know what I'm talking about and not just answering questions that you see. Um, so yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So the class is going to end very shortly. Last day of class is just over 1 week, on Friday, September 18th. Per college policy, I cannot accept any late assignments after 11:59 Central Standard Time on that day for no reason. For this week, it looks like you have a lot on your radar to get stuff done. So tonight you'll have your initial post for your discussion. Then you will have your discussion responses that are due like normal on Saturday, which is September 12th. Um, you also will have your Module 5 course project lesson plan part 4, which is due Sunday, September 13th, along with the exploration assignment, which is also due Sunday, September 13th. And then, of course, the live session reflection is also due on the 13th. So, making sure that you guys get those in is critical. And then Module 6 discussion is due um, Tuesday, September 15th. Just make sure that you guys don't have to respond to peers or myself, since it is a shorter week. And then the Module 6 exploration assignment is due on the last day of class, which is Friday, September 18th. And remember, I can't accept any late work after that date. So if you're struggling to get stuff in, please reach out to me as soon as possible. So a lot of information, take a look at your course calendar. I'm sure this all has the stuff on there as well, and reach out with any questions. So I'm checking in. I'm guessing things are going great, Chloe, huh? What are your reactions to the module 4 content? Any takeaways? Do you guys know your grade right now? Any barriers that you're having? Kind of want to hear from you guys. So if you are viewing this live session, please let me know how things are going and answering these 4 questions too as well. So Chloe, how's it going? As I wait for her to respond via chat, if you guys need anything from me between now and the end of class, please reach out. Um, there, it is a really busy week, so I just want to make sure that I respect your guys' time too, because I'm sure you guys all have families and you guys work. So I just want to make sure that you guys have that time to get your assignments done. Chloe responded that things are going great. Her favorite part of class is learning the best ways to communicate with families. She thinks that the parents are really important in a child's growth and development. She does read the feedback every week, and her grade is an A. That's good to hear. Good to hear that you're liking this uh, ways to communicate with families is a great way. It's really important to have that collaboration with the children, and the children's parents too. Really does bridge a gap, um, and makes that a lot stronger with good learning outcomes and more positive learning outcomes when you have that dual strength with them collaborating at home with what you're doing in the classroom. So great. Just remember, guys, to make sure to respond to this PowerPoint with these questions. Thanks for sharing, Chloe. Moving on, wanted to talk a little bit about course project and the lesson plan, part 4. Um, basically, you will be completing your lesson plan that you have been working on all term. You will be addressing how you can extend the lesson outside the classroom. First, you will come up with a involved game. Really get creative with this. Maybe your lesson is about dinosaurs. So you send a family project for the child to work on with their parents, where they choose a dinosaur and create it using household items. Um, the goal is to get families involved in what the child is learning in a fun way. Um, the next thing you will come up with is a community activity. This could be something for the community, like creating a little free library outside your school after a lesson in which the children created like an all about me book or books. Or it could be an activity in the community, such as a trip to the park to go on a scavenger hunt for different shapes during a lesson on shapes. After that, uh, I want you to think beyond the lesson to your overall interactions with families in your center. So you should come up with 3 ways you can include and engage families in your program. You may create a family wall outside each classroom to post a photo of each family and fun facts about them. Or you could host family nights at the center where you could provide dinner, maybe and play some games, or what I used to do. Once a year I would have a chili cook-off for my parents. Um, I realize some of these ideas are not an option right now in the midst of the coronavirus, and that's okay. We will not be living in the midst of coronavirus. Um, we're not going to be living in forever. So uh, it's okay to come up with ideas that you can use in the future too as well. And lastly, I do want you to include at least 3 ideas on how you can support the individual families. Really be sure to include details on how you will implement your ideas. For example, don't just say hold parent teacher conferences. give ideas on how you can create a welcoming environment and build trust with parents. Maybe you create a portfolio of the child's work to display the child's abilities and strengths. Or perhaps you set up two tables right next to each other, one for you and the parents to sit and talk, and another for the child to sit and play a quiet activity. Um, I really want to see you guys use your creativity here. These are not just ideas for an assignment, but hopefully ideas you can implement in your classroom. I hope these examples are helpful to you. And if you guys have any questions about these, please feel free to reach out to me. Does that make sense, Chloe? Great. I like to hear that it was actually helpful. Because sometimes, um, you want to really go into the why, the how, and then the why and what you could do, and take it a little further in order to have really a successful lesson plan to drive it home. So I'm glad that was helpful. Um, and like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Um, yeah. Uh, moving on. Um, Pretty much the last thing I want to talk to you about tonight is connecting with families and communities. I don't know, Chloe, if you had a chance to read about the Chapter 8 case study. Um, and if you didn't have a chance to read it, that's fine. I could read it and then we could discuss a little bit about it. Just want to hear from you. Have you had a chance to read it yet? All right. So Chloe has not had a chance to read it, and so I'm going to read it out loud, and then we can have reflect on these couple questions that I have, um, connecting with families and communities. So in chapter 8, there's a lot of good information regarding collaborating with families and communities. So there's from community outreach to parent conferences, collaborating with school districts, transition to kindergarten, parent nights, volunteering, um, heterosexual, homosexual families, different dynamics there. There's just a lot of information um, in there about connecting with families and the community. Um, I think one of the things that you gotta really know that there is a lot of information and that the parents are the child's first teachers. And basically they're the ones who are responsible um, for what their children know before they go to school. Um, it's really our responsibility as teachers to be sensitive to these families that really don't attend different school functions. And in this case study, I'm going to read about a real situation. Um, and this is about teenage mother and being single. Maybe some of you guys could relate to that. I know in my program, I actually have a teenage parent program where there are teenage ladies who are pregnant. Um, so yeah, it's just a lot of things that you could adapt to, maybe. But I just wanted to read this case study real quick to you guys. So yeah, it says, as I reflect back and move forward, there's no doubt that I was a troubled teen. Upon graduation from high school, I found out that I was pregnant. What were my options? What would life hold for my child and me? As a young indigenous working class woman, I would become another casualty of societal inequities, and would my position my child to follow a path of poverty and dispowerment? Yes, I had a loving family, and yes, I had a personal drive, but I did not have wealth, racial, or gender privilege. Because of my perseverance and familial love, I entered an urban community college. There I met a faculty member who helped me empower myself. Without his belief in me, I may have not been able to believe in myself. My daughter was born at the end of my first year. I was worried about how I could continue and care for my newborn. My mentor encouraged me to bring her to school when my family was unable to help. He would watch her in his office while I attended a class. I had an academic home. Not all my experiences were so positive. Because I was a teenage mom, I was often talked down to, expected to do poorly academically, and it was assumed that I provided inadequate care for my child. For example, I was strongly encouraged by the college to attend parenting classes. Although I learned valuable information about the importance of play and had a wonderful opportunities to learn songs and games with my child, I was also positioned as the teenage mother, the at risk parent. The educators failed to understand that my experiences gave me an incredible life tool. I was raised by a hardworking single mother and a loving family. My parental funds of knowledge came from a loving community that cherished each child as a sacred gift. We may have not have always lavished with extravagant gifts, but we were always immersed in love. And reflecting back, I realized how much I believe in the power of fierce hopefulness through the mentorship and love. For me, the stereotypical portrayals of teen moms and societal inequities were what could have been my roadblocks. I urged all teachers and caregivers to examine their biases about teen moms and the social issues that impact the lives of young mothers. Every mom, as well as every child, deserves empowering spaces where they can succeed. So, um, having read that, what are your guys' thoughts in the case study? Um, how does your program connect with families and the community? um, so I could show you a little, tell you a little bit about what we do. I have a pro. I don't. I'm starting to learn a little bit more about the programs that we have in um, our Head Start program. One of them is a teenage parent program where um, the mom of the mom will go to these classes with one of our staff members and work with them one on one about the things that they need and trying to get their not just their GED but trying to get credits to graduate high school. So that is one of the things that we do. And then when they're in school, their child is actually in our Head Start program. We do have 8 slots for that. So that is one of the ways that we help our families in our community, especially these small communities that we have here. Um, Another thing that I used to do, Chloe, and you could probably relate a little bit to this because you live in Denver, Colorado. I was an education supervisor before just coming here for Adams County Head Start. And one of the things that we used to do at Adams County Head Start was before all this COVID stuff, I call it the COVID nonsense, came. Um, we would hold the end of the year, like, we'd rent out this huge dome where it would be a literacy festival where the community, parents, different vendors, Head Start parents, children would come, and it would be like they could get to eat. Um, they would have free dancing. It was really a lot of good culture, and it was really rich where children could actually get free books. Parents could have they have access to different services. So just a lot of different things like that. We also used to have, we also used to do cooking matter classes where parents would learn how to cook healthy meals at home. Um, we also had yoga classes, mental health classes, which is a big thing now. That's really kind of popping up throughout the United States. So there was just a lot of different things that we have done to connect the families to the communities. We also had a food bank right in two of our actually Head Start program places. So, there's families that needed food, they would have that access right right next door to grab food for their families. So as I rambled off, Chloe did respond that I would like to share. She said it is awesome that some teachers were so kind and unbiased towards them. It is great that they felt so empowered by one experience and that they had success in their academics despite their difficulties. I'm not working in a program right now, but my previous one, we did not do much for family, uh, just two things like potlucks, dinner, and parent teacher conferences. Um, so yeah, and she also said that sounds super awesome. I wish my old center did more outreach. I love the idea of having classes. Yeah, there's just a lot of different things that you could do. And you could always have bring those things up to your director, your supervisor of things that you could really connect with those families in the community, especially and try not to be so biased is hard. I'm in a world that we live in. Um it's hard to be unbiased, and I think a lot of times you really have to look at a person's whole situation and really think about before you actually um, judge. And the biggest thing is really having compassion for these people that are in need and really connecting them with the right resources to hopefully for them to have a better situation. I'm not saying a better life, but hopefully a better situation, which they are currently in. If you know, having a better life does take a long time, and it does provide consistency. But planting that seed is the very first thing you need to do, and showing that um, love is and compassion is great. Um, and that pretty much ends our live session. If you have any questions on this, or if you have anything else to share, Chloe, um, please reach out to me. You are watching this online or this recording, please answer these questions in paragraph format. So yeah, have a great night. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. Thanks.